Disappeared into a sea of tourists.
Jared's too smart not to know Halder was operating under a different agenda.
I've left messages.
Not good enough.
It'll have to be good enough. It's the only number I've got.
Both Langley and Interpol have less information on Theodore Halder than we do.
We'll try Social Security, IRS. Someone has to have something on this guy. I've notified NCIC of Halder's known aliases. He's wanted for the murder of Secret Service agent Todd Baxter and for questioning at least a dozen other murders.
So why don't we squeeze Lyndon? He's got to know where Halder is.
Lyndon won't turn him over. Their relationship based on mutual needs. Marriage of power and violence. Halder was his gun for hire, but Lyndon called the shots.
Please, you don't really expect me to wear those, do you?
Doing time is nothing new to Lyndon. If I'm right, he'll work from prison. Arrange for Halder's excommunication from the States. Passports, cash, ID. Precipitating the need for Halder to stay underground until Lyndon's release.
Bailey, Lyndon was released from Arlington 15 minutes ago.
Son of a bitch made a side bet. U.S. Attorney's Office isn't compelled to proceed with charges against Lyndon. Guy's got half of Washington in his pockets.
My friends are worried about this one, Theodore. Too much exposure. They feel that it's in everybody's best interest if I'm extricated. I hope you understand.
Upper dermis is nearly cut clean through. Almost took his head off.
Professional job. You think one of them could have shown a little restraint?
Unless it wasn't professional. The killer might have known Lyndon and wanted him to find Halder dead.
Whoever Lyndon answers to found it in his best interest to kill them both. We've been asked to assist in the investigation. Turn our findings over to Ellis Talbot.
Tried log by the end of the week.
We weren't given a timeline.
Yeah, well, I'm giving you one now.
Deputy Director made the initial request.
Too bad he doesn't know what you guys do. That's a cleanup. Seems pretty obvious to me there was no psychological motive here.
It's not obvious to me.
Well, it will be by the end of the week. Someone's installed a foreign agent into the Secret Service. I'm sure you can appreciate my reluctance to expose the department to any more outsiders.
Restraints.
On his ankles, too.
But none on Lyndon? He was the one in custody.
These aren't from handcuffs.
We need to find out where Halder was prior to this meeting.
Held against his will. Kinky sex. Could be almost anything.
Could mean anything doesn't work for me, Gracie. Get the bodies on the table ASAP.
All right.
Halder could have been held, coerced into killing Lyndon. That's why he has the markings and not Lyndon. Fits with the lone assassin.
Yeah, but why here? It's too public for a conspiracy, too private for a message.
Spooks don't send messages.
This wasn't Jarod. Jarod helped bring the situation out. He was the one who brought these two to bear.
That doesn't answer the questions I have about him. His whereabouts are a priority, Rachel.
Last person to see Halder alive was his partner, Jarod Wilkes, who I'm still waiting to interview.
Someone convinced Halder that Linden was going to move on him. Then used that meeting to eliminate them both.
Yeah, but the force of the kill, it suggests more emotion than motive. A lone wolf or someone who feels he's not getting the credit he deserves.
Linden's web of influence left a lot of people vulnerable to exposure. Their deaths would end that concern.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like business to me.
I pulled protocol on both of the victims, Baxter and Radcliffe, the reporter who was breaking the story. They both have ligatures that match the marks consistent with Halder, just not as deep.
Was there anything to suggest that they were captured or tortured?
Well, the Emmy wasn't looking for that, so I only have his report to go on. The only standout is a mention of scarring on some of the internal organs.
Scarring tells you what?
Nothing if Radcliffe and Baxter recently had the flu. High fever and dehydration could have caused the hemorrhaging, but what did ring a bell? They either gave blood recently or they both had an IV drip in their arms.
Conditions of fever could have been introduced artificially.
That's what I was thinking, but it would take some pretty exotic proteins. I'll have tox screenings by morning. Shall I take this to Talbot?
Hold off on that. Thanks, Tracy. Sense of duty.
If he's torturing people, maybe it's not for information. Maybe it's a way to justify his impulse to kill. I mean, if all he wanted to do was to expose corruption, he could have lawyered himself up, gone on 60 Minutes.
Because he can't come forward. He's protecting his own agenda.
You know, if somebody's killing out of misplaced duty, we should look on the bottom of the food chain, not the top.
Not someone who Linden answers to, but someone who answers to him. I'll have George compile a background on everyone who works under Linden.
Focus on government lifers, disgruntled workers, anyone in the uniformed service who's been passed over for a promotion.
You sound keyed up. Don't you meet me for a nightcap?
You know what? I just had my dinner sent up, or else I would.
Well, don't stay up late.
I'll let you know when I hear from Jarod.
You know, I keep trying to call you, but your line is always busy.
For 3 days?
I had to take care of some things. Linden was booked on a flight to Austria the night of the double murders under the name of Paul Purifoy. Halder on a red-eye to Prague.
Who made the arrangements?
I'm still working on that one.
Under what portfolio? Your undercover assignment ended with their death.
I didn't know that I needed credentials to care if people's lives were being destroyed. Look, all I want to do is find the truth behind Todd Baxter's death, which I know you don't suspect has anything to do with me, or you never would have let me into your hotel room. Besides, I know a friend when I see one. All I want to do is finish what I've started. And I can't do that without you.
I'm not so eager to end up like your last partner.
Halder was playing both ends against the middle. I'll keep a better eye on you. Take care of this.
I'm fine. No, you don't need to come over. Okay, look, someone's buzzing. I gotta go. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Yeah?
It's me. I need a favor.
I thought this was over.
He's with you, isn't he?
I told you I don't know where he is.
I can't be tied to this, Emily. Halder's dead already. It doesn't matter. What's a little more evidence against him?
Emily Sadler came to Washington to make a difference. What she found was greed and the perversion of truth by powerful men ready to crush her dreams and break her heart.
She was on Lyndon's payroll, answerable to him.
Unofficially, Lyndon threatened to kill her father if she didn't lie to the authorities about her last night with Baxter. I think it makes her a pretty good target.
Or bait. The idealist who compromised herself once too often. Jarod gave you this for a reason.
Suspicion wasn't the reason he asked us to look after her. I think he cares, really. I don't think he can walk away from injustice.
That fits with your sense of duty.
But not with Jared's. There's no motive behind his concern.
My antenna goes up when someone's this aloof.
He's just being careful.
People with something to hide have to be.
Warm in here. Really heating the place up. So hot. So easy to relieve your torment. The guilt you must feel for dishonoring yourself, deceiving your country. Tell me where it is. Please don't make me kill you. Go to hell.
I thought...
Emily Sadler?
A friend buzzed downstairs. I thought you were him.
The guy in the first floor unit said he heard noises in the basement. Figured I'd better take a look.
His clothes are soaked with sweat. Dermis is starting to separate. He boiled to death, basically.
By something he was given intravenously?
Whatever it was, he got more than the others.
Were the other victims hooded?
I'll have to go back over the fibers.
Interrogating them is only part of what he wanted. Now this is more about judgment or punishment. Guess this gives us an extension on our deadline.
You gonna be all right? I mean, I can't stay.
No, I'll be fine, Dad. I'll call you later at the shop, okay?
Okay.
What was your relationship with Special Agent Talbot?
I knew him.
Look, this isn't a fundraiser, and I'm not making idle conversation.
We met when I first came to town, a lifetime ago. He was a Beltway insider. I wasn't. He had no interest in sex. At least no interest in sex with me.
You also claim not to have a sexual relationship with Todd Baxter.
Todd and I went to Columbia together. We were friends. That's all.
Did Talbot give you any indication of what he wanted?
Did it have something to do with Jarod Wilkes? Was he looking for Jarod?
I told you he didn't say.
Jared's your friend, isn't he?
He saved my life.
I'm placing you under federal protection. We'll have you moved to a safe house.
Wait, I can't go to a safe house. If word gets out that I'm under federal watch, my career will be over.
Your career is not what you should be worried about.
I'll leave 2 agents at your door while you pack.
The ME combed black cotton fibers off the back of Radcliffe's neck. They match fibers consistent with the hood that we found on Talbot.
Killer doesn't want to look his victims in the eye.
Lyndon and Halder were spared his shyness. The others had tetanitis globulinum. Horse serum, basically. Not as exotic as I had originally thought, but hard to get and very effective. The more you get, the higher your body temperature rises.
How long were they exposed?
10, 15 minutes. I doubt that their body temperatures rose above 105. Talbot's temperature was 110 plus for more than an hour. His vitals were soup.
Well, he couldn't have known what the killer wanted. Talbot would have sold his mother out at the side of a needle. Malone.
Hey, I got something on Ellis Talbot. He had a couple of offshore accounts waiting for him in Aruba to the tune of $3 million.
How'd it get there?
Deposits were made from Lyndon's PR firm, where Talbot is listed as a technical consultant.
So Talbot was in on it, too.
Yeah, and something else, too. A couple of weeks before his death, Todd Baxter took out a life insurance policy. I mean, nothing big, just enough to keep his mother comfortable. Which he might do, you know, if he thought his life were in danger.
Or someone took the policy out for him to give the appearance he was afraid for his life.
Yeah, well, the policy was executed telephonically, so I'm having the tape sent over from the insurance company.
Get me an address for the mother. Tell Rachel to meet me outside in 5.
Okay, boss.
He was a good son. Those things they were saying about him in the papers weren't true.
Mrs. Baxter, did your son ever mention that he thought his life was in danger?
No. But I doubt he would have worried me with it if he had.
Was there any sort of change in his behavior? Did he seem agitated or anxious about something?
Last few months, he seemed sad. Felt like people he had once believed in had changed.
People?
Emily was his biggest disappointment. Todd said they were just friends, but I think he still liked her. I never said anything to him, but I never trusted that girl. Anybody that would do what she did to get ahead. I knew someday she'd hurt him, but I never. So ironic he would die in that river. He loved to swim. Swam 3 miles every morning at the Veterans Hall. It's not right to bury a child.
This is outrageous. What do you think I've got in there?
Cell phones and pagers pose a security risk.
What if someone's trying to reach me?
You'll have outbound access to a hard line once you've settled in.
You won't even tell me where you're taking me.
You need to keep this to 3 bags. If you need anything else, we'll send someone for it. Agent Bertram. She gives you a hard time. Just try and remember she's stressed. Why don't you grab lunch? I'll make sure she's ready.
What a small world. Todd Baxter was a good man. He was a good son. He was trying to do the right thing.
They were following us.
I promised I would keep an eye on you. I was keeping an eye on you.
How well do you know Emily Sadler? I mean, Todd's mother seems less convinced of her innocence.
Todd's mother is in mourning.
Yes, but she's still his mother. I don't know about yours, but my mother's always had a pretty good antenna when it's come to my friends.
Well, I never actually knew my mother. What does your antenna tell you?
There's an element of shame involved in these killings. I mean, even though the killer feels it's necessary to end...
The killer wants to remove anyone that was involved in the corruption.
It's pragmatic. The need to kill is satisfying something in the killer. Look, the blindfold, killing the victims to end their suffering. There's a shame involved in this, even though he feels it's part of his duty.
But Emily Sadler is not proud of her part in Todd's death.
She's lying.
Look, she may be a liar, but she is not a killer. I'm sorry, I can't stop defending her.
That's okay. I find myself defending you to Bailey.
Really? Well, don't go sticking your neck out for me.
I can do it for you. I just think that I know a good friend when I see one.
You never do what?
Get involved with someone that
That you work with? I'm without portfolio, remember?
Well, that's a technicality.
What's a little technical difficulty between friends?
I don't suppose that you could pretend that didn't happen.
I could pretend to do many things. That would be pretty difficult.
Burke. Thanks, George. It was Emily Sadler's voice that was on the tape. She bought the insurance policy.
Emily did a lot of Lyndon's dirty work.
Yes, but now that Lyndon's dead, that makes her a loose end.
Agent Bertram will drive you to the location. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. She's all yours.
You faked your own death.
They were gonna kill me, Emily. They used you to set me up. I know they threatened to kill your father if you didn't go along with it. You can't trust these people.
They were taking me to a safe house.
They were gonna eliminate you. Here. I didn't want you to see that. Thank God I got you before they did.
But Jarod...
Jarod's one of them. Don't you see that? They must have gotten to him. If they don't want their dirty little secret exposed, and they're willing to kill anyone in their way. I had to make them think I was dead. It was my only chance. I found out what they were gonna do to you.
Who, Todd? Who's behind this?
Until I know you're safe, the less you know, the better. I'm gonna see through this, Emily. And my word.
Agent James Bertram, age 29. His birthday is next week. Poor kid should have given up information sooner. He might have seen 30.
The agent in charge turned Emily over after securing her effects in the trunk. Circumstances at the time prevented Agent Manning from getting a good look at the driver. Described him as solid build with dark features. I've got George running a list of disgruntled or passed over agents with level 3 or higher clearance.
Yeah, thanks. They found the car abandoned a few blocks from her condo.
He made the switch right away.
No witnesses. She mustn't have put up a fight. Somebody would have noticed.
He may have rendered her physically or psychologically incapable of struggle.
Dad? He never leaves the door unlocked. Dad? Dad? He's here.
Too late, they're gone.
Who got him? What do they want with him?
You know who, Emily? Jarod Wilkes is a phantom. I searched FBI files, CIA, Interpol. He doesn't exist. Someone that deep is a threat to national security.
Oh, there's no answer at home.
Look, we can stop this man.
What are you talking about? Jarod saved my life.
That's what he wanted you to think. Or did he just happen to show up as you were being attacked? Emily, Jarod scared you into thinking that your life was in danger so you would trust him. Your father's in danger, Emily. You gotta trust me.
The interrogation is a practical means to an emotional end. He's asking them questions that they can't answer, so he's got no choice but to kill them.
Eliminating everyone involved isn't just to expose them. He's purging himself.
He may have had honorable intentions at one time, but they got twisted up or compromised. Disgust with his own moral shortcomings, that might be the trigger.
So the killer is torturing his victims to admit their corruption as a way of making up for his own. I take it I'm no longer a suspect.
You've got a pretty strong ally on your side, and we can use your help.
Tetanitis globulinum. Horse serum. I cleaned stalls one summer.
You know what? Maybe the killer did too. George?
Yeah, that'll winnow down the list. No, I mean, it's just... Agents in Washington with level 3 clearance are about as rare as, I don't know, what, expense accounts. Problem is, since the killings, central computing has shut down access to the mainframe.
Since when does that include you?
Yeah, 128-bit encryption. I just haven't been able to break through it.
Is there any way to get the right algorithm sequencer through the internal security system?
If I had access to the right IP address?
Well, make me a copy. I'll see if I can kludge something together that will get you in the back door.
Someone with holes in his portfolio would be natural to take the fall for this.
I've managed to stay under the radar this long.
Well, people we're talking about are good.
Well, then I'll have to be better. Emily's made some bad decisions, but if she's involved, it's not by choice.
If he wanted to kill her, he would have had plenty of opportunities to do so. He probably thinks that she knows the names of other people that were involved.
Well, that's what worries me. I don't know what she knows, or even if she's aware that she knows it.
Here you go.
Good luck.
Hi, this is George. Leave your message after the tone.
George, it's Jarod. I have something I'm going to download to you. It's about 9:30. You know something? I didn't want to believe it.
You don't look surprised to see me.
Well, it would have been if I hadn't read a profile that made me think otherwise. Turned down by the Bureau 3 times. Repeatedly passed over at the Secret Service. When a man has his head against the ceiling that many times, he's bound to be resentful. I guess your life didn't turn out the way you planned, did it? What happened to you?
You're the one with the profile, you tell me.
We used to be friends, Todd.
You were in trouble and needed a ride. That doesn't make us friends.
Well, I guess you live and you learn.
Get your shoes.
Where's Emily?
Safe, so I know you won't do anything to jeopardize that. Your shoes. Let's go.
Thank you. Bailey, Jared's using himself for bait.
I've got it moving west on La Salle.
LaSalle, they're at the light. This would have been a lot easier if Jarod had given us a heads up.
I know, he tried. Whatever it was he wanted me to download, he just never got to send.
Lyndon, Halder, Talbot. They're powerful, corrupt men. Eliminating them was a necessity the killer enjoyed. But it's not a true victory without Jarod, the man responsible for stealing his thunder.
He's been killing his victims systematically, working his way towards Jarod.
Aware of Emily's feelings for him. Jarod knew how vulnerable Emily was. That's why he turned himself over to the killer. But it's not enough to kill Jarod. The killer needs to discredit Jarod in front of her. He needs to be the hero.
Where to now, Georgie?
You're right there, maybe 20 yards ahead of you.
You should be right on top of it.
There's nothing here.
There has to be.
Bailey, what's there?
Got something.
What is it, John? Bailey. Bailey. Bailey, is Jarod okay? Bailey.
Jarod knew what he was doing.
He felt responsible. People were dying because of him. Why would someone go through so much trouble to mask their life? What's he hiding? What's he running from?
Maybe it's something he's running to. Something from his past. Lyndon burned a lot of people. The list of disgruntled cronies who fit the profile is long. We have to turn another corner.
I have turned everything I've got.
You have to find one more. Killer sees himself as someone heroic.
Someone who justifies his actions, is compensating for a sense of worthlessness with dreams of greatness, a willingness to do what others won't.
You have a history of embracing organizations that justify their need to take action. Law enforcement, the military.
A stoic sense of honor and duty, of doing what it takes, making sacrifices that make him feel better about himself. Maybe even the ultimate sacrifice. What's more heroic than to die?
The unsung hero.
George, yeah, give me everything you can on Todd Baxter.
What have you done with my father?
Emily.
What have you done with him?
If something happened to your father, I had nothing to do with it. I swear to you.
Maybe you should go downstairs.
What are you gonna do?
Find your father.
Don't believe him. Emily, don't believe him! What happened to you, Todd? What happened to the guy that saved my life?
What happened to the guy whose life is worth saving?
Where's her father? Is he tied up somewhere, too? Or did you kill him?
I don't kill people unless I have to.
And what about that agent that was driving Emily to the safe house? Did you have to kill him, too?
He was just a pawn in their plot. I had to kill him to save Emily.
The only person that Emily needs saving from is you. What's the plan, Todd? You tell her I confessed to everything? Oh, her father's living proof of that. You become the hero who uncovered it all and saved the girl. You make me sick. You've been exploiting her friendship since the very beginning. There is no way that I will ever confess to your crimes.
We'll see about that.
Todd Baxter faked his own death to expose corruption and to win Emily over. Now he'll have used their friendship to build a trust, convincing Emily that Jared's the enemy, lying to her to get to him.
4 years with the Secret Service, and he never rose above a GS-10. Rejected by the Bureau 3 times.
Which has made my job easier, for once. I mean, Bureau applicants are viciously screened for security.
He volunteered for every dangerous assignment the service has to offer. High-risk security details, all kinds of undercover work.
Anything to prove himself worthy. The wrong numbers his mother's getting. Maybe it's him. Checking on her. Making sure she's okay, but not for her sake, for his sake. That's what a dutiful son should do, right?
Got anything on Baxter's dental records?
Oh, yeah. They were accessed through the internet on January 18th, which is the day before Baxter was pulled from the river. The dental records that were used to identify the body were the amended ones.
Have D.C. police send over a list of missing persons reported around the time of Baxter's death. Baxter probably lured some homeless guy with booze or cash, then used that body to fake his own death.
Just got off the phone with Hagerstown PD. Emily Sandler's father owns a bakery there. He's missing.
Baxter's got him. That's what he'll use to finally get Emily to turn on Jarod.
Place of disgrace and shame, where he was punished or abused.
I don't know. This might be something. When Todd was 8, he was hospitalized for dehydration.
So was I, after almost every football game I played.
Yeah, but you weren't suspended from school the same afternoon for fighting, were you?
What did his father do for a living?
George Baxter was a phys ed teacher. He was also an ROTC sergeant and the local scoutmaster.
I had a leader. Disciplinarian. He's probably harder on his son than he was the other kids. Might have punished him at home, locked him up in a room without water for beating up on some poor kid.
Father died in '74 of diabetes.
Todd was just a boy. Man of the house when he was 10.
Where was home at the time? Where did Baxter and his father share a roof?
Fairfax County, Virginia. His mother still owns the house, but it's been a rental since '89.
Is it occupied?
Yeah, by the Hearn Wallace family. They've been there for 6 years. I called. Still their voicemail.
Keep digging.
Linden and Halder were never gonna pay for their crimes. Extortion, murder, so-called suicides. You were gonna sweep them under the carpet like it never happened.
And you were gonna expose them, right?
Until you came along. Now I'm gonna expose you. In a moment, you'll tell me everything. Who you are, where you're from, what your mission is. Last chance.
Screw you.
I'm impressed. Bigger men are melted under much less. It's about to change. You're not Jarod Wilkes, are you? Tell me who you are. Running when I met you. You're still running. Who are you running from, Jarod? What have they done to win your allegiance?
When I was a child, I was taken from my family.
Tell me. Tell me everything.
Emily, no! No! Leave her alone! No! Let her go!
Get him out of here.
Don't talk.
With 3 cc's of epinephrine administered subcutaneously.
Shh, it's okay. We've got you. It's okay. It's gonna be okay.
Oh. Where was he? They found him in the trunk of Baxter's car.
As a boy, his father locked him in that attic for hours as a punishment. Some summers it would get to 120 degrees.
So you figured out that Todd would want to be a hero in the place he least felt like one.
You know, we almost skipped over that place, but George dug deeper. Turns out that some of the tenants had the power and the phones turned on in a rental in Baltimore. Baxter quietly evicted them a few months ago.
Well, I, for one, am glad for George's tenacity. I wasn't sure I could have held out much longer.
You know, I'm surprised you held out as long as you did.
Well, I read Grace's protocol.